We're early, but Ed's here, so do you know, I had a really nice introduction planned. And I was going to sing your praises and talk about how great you are, but everybody, Ed Marsh! Would you like to hear? Would you like to hear the intro? Would you like to hear the intro I wrote? Yeah. All right. Now, if you've somehow managed to avoid Ed's videos over the last decade, let me give you a brief introduction. Most adventure riders spend years carefully selecting the perfect motorcycle. Ed bought a 30-year-old C90, Honda C90, pointed it towards the horizon, and ended up riding around the world. There's more. There's more. Since then, he's crossed continents. He's survived deserts, mountains, border crossings, mechanical failures, questionable life decisions. He's built a huge following by proving that adventure doesn't have to be expensive, comfortable, or particularly sensible. Yep, yeah. Which brings me neatly to the first question. Most people, including myself, spend a lot of time trying to make our lives more comfortable, easier. You seem to have built a career out of trying to make your life as hard as possible, which is one of the reasons I love watching your videos so much, but why?
It's the challenge.
Yeah.
We're
really far away. Okay, should we get a bit closer? I feel as if, that's it. That's it. Here we go, that's better, that's better. I want to feel closer to you.
Yeah, it's the challenge of well, it's just making it, and I'm trying to think how to describe this, is that often I don't choose something that will definitely be difficult, but I choose something difficult could happen, and it will be a natural thing that happens. So by choosing such a small motorcycle, you get a lot of benefits, but if you really need to smash out the miles, or it starts raining, you don't have the choice. So you are then forced to ride in the rain, but it feels like a natural thing that you don't really hate yourself for. Rather than just choosing to just ride in the rain that day, like say you've got a clear route and a wet route. I prefer to, but it would be deciding to ride in the rain pointlessly, whereas if you choose a bike that might break down, then if it happens, it's something to fix, it's something to challenge you, but you didn't take a sledgehammer to your own motorcycle. So
is there something deep here about fate, serendipity, or just being bloody minded? I don't know. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Were you the sort of kid that wandered off a lot when you were a kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my mum always sort of told me if there was anything I wanted to do, just look at the average intelligence of the other people doing it, and then work out if they're like more or less intelligent than you, and that'll tell you if you can probably do it. So it's like brain surgery, no. But fixing a puncture, well, yeah, I could probably do that. So let's just give it a go. And yeah, I like all of the chaos that happens to me is normally fairly natural. I wasn't creating artificial drama. When they're like, oh, we're going to go to the top of this mountain, and oh, sorry guys, the shots don't look impressive enough, we're going to need to poke a hole in your tyre. And like that I can't stand.
You've never been tempted to poke a hole in your tyre?
No, because everything's already gone so wrong by that point. No.
Have you ever had a 5-year plan?
No.
No?
No, I can't see more than 2 years into the future at any point in my life. That's all I've just focused on, and you only get one go at it.
In all seriousness, was there a point that you realised that your sense of fun might be a bit different to other people's, and then actually might appeal to other people?
Yeah, and one of the reasons that I started making videos was because, from my, being in school, I learned that I like to be a bit of an entertainer. But what I realised was that there were so many people that when they're told that they can't do something, they'll sort of go, oh, okay, I can't do that. Whereas I'm so bloody minded that it'll make me want to do it more. And so one of the reasons I made my videos was to kind of give people an incentive to do it, but rather than just relentlessly go, you're really strong, you're really... I'm going to start this journey, so there's no bad blood. And so if there's a job for me when I get back, no, there's no job for you when you get back. And I quit and just did it. And yeah, and I sent my bike out to Malaysia. I left my keys at home. And I actually had to screwdriver the locks in front of the customs guy, pushed it out of the airport, and then yeah, and then I was just sat on it on the side of the road, just working out what side of the road they drove on, because I just hadn't researched anything, because I thought we don't need to. It's just riding, isn't it? And you know, people are riding here with no license. Well, I've got a license, so I'll probably be all right. And the most difficult part was the first step was just going, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just going to quit my job because I am doing this, and that I think is the only real difficult part.
That's quite a courageous thing to do when you think about it, because you're quitting security, stability, something you've worked towards and worked for a long time. It does take quite a bit of courage, doesn't it?
Well, for me, no. Because, what is it? Bravery is knowing that something's a bad idea and doing it anyway. Whereas I didn't ever think it was a bad idea. Because I'm just looking at the roads going, well, everybody in Thailand is on a Honda 90, therefore the roads are suitable for Honda 90s. I'm on a Honda 90. I ride 50 miles to work every day on my Honda 90 in the UK, but I'll just do 50 miles every day, but just in one direction. And was it.
Yeah. Was there a moment when you thought, yeah, I'm ready for this?
How do you mean, sorry?
Was there a moment when, before you left, and you were like, yeah, now's the time, I need to do it, or will I never do it? Or was it just, yeah, I'm just...
That was when I decided to do it in 2 years' time.
That was
yeah. When I did some vague calculations of money, and just went, okay, right, in 2 years' time I'm off, set a date, and... Yeah, I don't know, it just sort of happened. I just found myself in Malaysia, like, oh yeah, whoops.
So tell us about that first days, those first few weeks on the road. What were they like for you?
There was, I think it was halfway through day one, and a monsoon came in Malaysia, and then I saw there was this little coconut shack thing. They were selling coconuts with straws in it, and so I decided to shelter under there, and the bike was kind of out in the rain, and I'm just sat there, and then it suddenly dawned on me that looking at the bike was the same as I'd seen it in the works car park in Devon, hundreds of times over, but what I was looking at was the same image in Malaysia, and I had 14,500 miles to go back home, and there was this sort of like it's kind of setting in now, isn't it? Like, I'm never going to see this shack again. I'm never seeing this road again. Every single day turned out for the next 8 months was completely new, and yeah, then I just got hooked on it.
And people here, have you watched Ed's videos?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for that revenue.
Good stuff, good stuff. For people that might not have, the few people who haven't, can you let us know what your journey was on that C90, that first journey?
Yeah, so first one was, I shipped my bike out to Malaysia. First time I'd left Europe, thought, well, you might as well do it properly. I looked at a globe, picked the furthest land mass from Calais, and it was either Russia, which would just be all Russia, or Malaysia, so cool, that'll do. Yeah, sent it out there, didn't really know what I was doing, left my keys at home. And yeah, then rode back over 8 months and 14,500 miles. Then I got that job back that they told me didn't exist.
It was a sabbatical.
Yeah, they didn't know at the time. Got the job back, then they dipped me around, so I quit again, and then I rode through the Arctic Circle in winter. Phoned them up in Sweden. I'm like, right, I can be back in 2 weeks' time, or I'm going to go through Russia and go around the world. And they were like, oh, well, wasn't a sabbatical? I don't care. I keep telling you to stop dicking me around. You're going to learn one day. So then they said, yeah, okay, fair enough. You can get back in 2 weeks. There's a job for you. So rode from Nordkap in January back down to Devon. Into the works car park, still with the studded tyres, like on the bike. Then did another 6 months. And then they dicked me around again, so I quit again. I still hold the record for the most times employed by that company. And then I guided a tour which was from Mongolia back to England, guiding 7 people. The oldest guy was 74, The youngest guy was 19. He got signed up by his mum because, and hand on heart, he had only ever filled up in one petrol station. Right? He didn't have a passport when his mum signed him up because he'd never left Cornwall. His longest motorcycle ride was 23 miles, and his mum signed him up to ride 7,000 miles from Mongolia back to England.
What are you thinking as a tour guide when you're given this?
I was thinking footage. This guy is incredible.
It's going to make great content.
Yeah, if you put him in a movie, people would be like, "No, that's stupid. That's never going to happen."
Well, yeah. I've got to find out, what was he like? How did he get on?
Oh, he was an idiot. It was brilliant. Every time. So, as we got the bikes out of customs, which turns out you couldn't really import them into Mongolia, but we just slept in the customs office until they got bored of us. Long story. And we got them out, and so all of us were putting our bikes together, and he was kickstarting it, and it wasn't starting. And he was only 19, pretty young guy. And anytime anything went wrong, he would instantly be like, "Oh, this is the biggest problem in the world," and da-da-da. I was like, "Okay, I'll look after him a bit." And his bike wasn't starting. It was, "Oh, piece of crap, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Look, it started when you put it in the box, so we'll start now. Maybe a plug lead's come off." And he was like, "Will you?" So I said that again. He's like, "Well, I didn't start it before sending it to Mongolia." And I was like, "I'm sorry, the what now?" And he's like, "Well, the engine blew up a week before, so I got one of my engines, that was just in the pile," because every Honda 90 owner has a pile of engines. And he was like, "Oh, I didn't have time to start it." I was like, "Did you sleep before coming out here?" "Yes." "Well, then you did have time to start it." And anyway, and so I managed to get it going. Long story short, there was everything on his bike was knackered, like ridiculous. And his on a key switch, there's a little flap of metal which pops up, and that's to stop the rain from going in it. I ended up separated from the group. One guy, his engine blew up. I had to get a 300-mile taxi ride with him. We're in this town, and he was like, "Right, I found a taxi." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "You're not going to believe this, but the driver's name is Rim Job." And I'm like, "There's no way." And he was like, "Try it." And I was like, "Rim Job?" And he goes, anyway. So we go back to the campsite, get an engine. The rest of the group I sent ahead, and I got a phone call. They were like, "Austin's bike won't start." Of course it won't start. It rained, the water had got into the ignition barrel. I told them how to hotwire it. They ignored me. Fair enough. If you're going to make your own bed, lie in it. I don't care if you're miserable. And then, so after 3 days, we caught up with him. And he was like, "Oh, can you fix my bike?" I was like, "Yeah, pack of smokes and an ice cream." So he goes off to get that. "Okay, yeah, the ignition barrel is full of water and everything." I was like, "Right, this is a lesson for you, sir." And I gave him a brand new ignition barrel. And I said, "Right, this fits in almost perfectly. All you got to do is cut the wires, twist them together. Here's some tape. I've even drawn you a wiring diagram. It's red to red, black to black, green to green, and then yellow to blue. And that's it." And I gave it to him, and I went, "I'm not doing this for you. The bike is hot wired, so it's on. If you want to turn it off, you have to pull the plug cap. It's the only way to turn this bike off, because it's on permanently." And of course, every time, when you do that, you get electrocuted. Especially if it's raining. Once again, hand on heart, I watched that man electrocute himself at least 4 times a day, every day for 2 months, back to the UK, and every time I would overtake him, I could see this ignition barrel that I'd put in the mesh pocket on the outside to give him a bit of a poke of like, "Look, it's there, it's there." Yeah, and of course do this thing of like, he'd go to stop the bike, and he'd be like, "Oh, fuck it, no, Austin, this is on you. You can have this problem fixed within 10 minutes. And I hold no grudge, I will help you. I will provide you the tools, but you've got to do it. This is a life lesson," and apparently it just wasn't.
I want to hear more about Rim Job. Was he a good guy?
Yeah, he was a good driver. We were listening to Lady Gaga, he really liked. And it was a 300-mile off-road Jeep journey from this place back to the capital city. Because one guy had been looking forward to this trip for years. He'd been trying to do trips with his friends for years. And every year, 10 mates, "Yeah, we're going to do a trip." And 2 months later, one drops out. And then until eventually it was just him in the pub. Then he saw my videos and saw that I was guiding a tour, and he signed up. Day 3, his engine, it was the big end bearings went. that's it, done. We're in the middle of nowhere. We were using the thigh bone of a dead cow as a soft-faced mallet. Like, not for the gram and all that Instagram crap. I said, no, it's all that's there. Anyway, and he was like, well, that's it. I'm done. This is it. Trip over, day 3. I was like, no. He's like, you never leave a man behind. He's like, no, what are you going to do? There is nothing. And that was it. He was flying home. And he was looking pretty sad. I felt quite sad for him, because I've been that guy that all your friends drop out. And and he was like, okay, I got a taxi, rim job, back to Ulaanbaatar. That's it, I'm out. I said, right, I've got a plan. You are getting in this taxi, aren't you? Because you believe that I cannot solve this situation. He's like, yeah, it's impossible, look at it. I said, okay, I'll get in the taxi with you back to Ulaanbaatar. It's like a 36-hour off-road, journey. Give me 1 day to buy an engine with you. If we get an engine, you get back in the taxi with me for the return journey, because, Rimjob lives here, so do that. If you're right, you get on the plane and fly home, and I get the taxi back. And you can't weasel your way out of this one. I am getting you back to England. And if you're right, you win. If I'm right, I win. I'll just send the rest of the group ahead. Go to the bike market. It was closed that day, of course it was. I remember there was a place that sold motorcycles around the corner. Walked past. So right, that bike, you buy that. If you buy that motorcycle, that engine fits in your bike. We bargained them down to like $300. Pushed it back to Oasis biker camp, which is in Mongolia. And there's all the BMW guys waiting for their parts. Because you just can't get parts. KTM, the lot, even a Honda Transalp, you can't get the parts in Mongolia at the end. And so they saw us all leave, like, bye losers, waiting for your parts. 4 days later, we come back, pushing a bike in. And what did you guys do? Anyway, so we said, can we use some tools? Everybody got out their tools, dropped the engine in like half an hour, put it in the taxi. I stood on top of the bench, and I was like, right, we're having an auction. Who wants to buy a motorcycle without an engine? We're going to use that. I was like, look, it's got tyres on it, it's worth something. And then one guy in the back goes, I'll give you breakfast. And then we sold it to him for 2 lots of eggs and bacon on toast. Got back in the Jeep and then carried on. Put the engine in his, and we then caught up for the rest of the group. And then I got him all the way back to England. And he took me aside at one point and he was like, thanks for that. Like, you were so, unobligated to do that. I was like, no, you paid for me to guide a tour to get you back to England. I am getting you back to England.
I think that deserves a round of applause. Well done. I may as well put these questions down, because it doesn't matter. Do you enjoy being a tour guide? It's so different to riding solo, isn't it, exploring the world?
Yeah.
Does it feed into your problem-solving side?
Yes, because you've now got 8 times the problems. And they can all, and they're all completely natural. Because you don't if I'd have planned for Austin's bike to be that bad, I'd commit myself to an asylum. And I wouldn't have done it, because that's moronic. But it was such a natural thing to happen. So, okay, I'll just deal with the problem. And so that's why I love guiding tours, because you have so many more problems to solve. You also get to help people achieve these often bucket list trips. And it's just a laugh.
Do you find it's a certain type of person that signs up to your tour? Because some people will pay thousands of pounds to do a fantastic journey in comfort. What sort of mindset do you think people need to come along with you and like yourself, think there will be problems, I will overcome them, I'll come back the richer for it?
Basically, if they like what happens in my videos and they go, I want that to happen to me, it's a very good filter, and it gets rid of all of the prima donnas, the people that don't like dick jokes.
Dick jokes. I've watched. Talking of dick jokes, I remember I've just got this residing. I've watched quite a few of your videos over the years, and I've just got this residing memory of you sat in front of a computer with a dick on your forehead in Canada. was it? In the snow?
So I filmed that in Mexico, and it was a prosthetic penis, which I could not get to attach to my head until I superglued it to my forehead. Was the only way to get the take. Because I was making it wave around a lot, it kept falling off, so I had to use superglue. And there was this moment as I'm sticking it to my forehead, going, I mean, I hope this comes off.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, because I remember something about it being like icy and snowy, and someone had complained about you riding on the highway or something like that. Was that it?
Yeah, it was when Rachel and I were crossing Canada in the winter.
Yeah.
Some guy reported us for being on motorcycles in the winter, and then the cop comes out. Yeah, and of course this thing is like, oh, I'm pulling you over for your own safety. Sweet, cool, you've delayed us for 2 hours, so now we have to drive in the dark, dickhead. Oh yeah, sorry. You know, and so the thing that put me over the edge was this guy left a rant on Rachel's Facebook page saying how that she was an idiot and we were morons and we're dangerous and stuff. And the photo that he took of how dangerous we were is the thing, like, you know, just let morons be morons, you're not going to change them. But the photo he took was on a 23-mile straight. It was 23 miles, and he said that his girlfriend damn near crashed trying to overtake us. And I said, I'm not insulting your girlfriend's mental ability too much, but if your girlfriend can't overtake safely on a 23-mile straight, I think you're taking advantage of her being her carer, I think it was. Or something like that. I will phrased a little bit better than that, but yeah, it was like, no, you don't do that. It's like, you know, a 2 mile straight, maybe I wouldn't have would have glued a penis to my head.
I just remember watching it, like laughing, tears coming to my eyes. I'm thinking, does Ed carry a prosthetic penis with him around, just in case? Like, where did it come from?
Hey! There she is. Good work. I bought that in LA because I had the idea of what the bit was going to be, and I actually carried it across the border into Mexico, and I was wondering, if I get searched, because I also had a little toy car. After I did a lot of adventure motorcycling, I think it was 120,000 miles or so I did on that bike. I then bought a mini Jeep, which is basically like a little kid's toy that the Chinese decided to put a 125cc petrol engine in. And in Utah, you can make anything road legal that has a VIN plate. So I bought that, and I thought, I'm going to do 1,000 miles across Utah, back to Moab, via Idaho, Nevada, and then near Arizona. Then I got to the Colorado River and the ferry wasn't running, so I converted it to be amphibious, and I then drove it 2 miles over the Colorado River across the lake and made it home, and it was an amazing time. So philosophically, I don't know if you can call it not in the video and all of this stuff, and I went to India, you'll never guess what happened, you know, that, and I decided, no, that's not me, I'm not going to play that game. My videos, if there's something ridiculous that happens, and I've had so many content creators go, why wasn't that in the thumbnail? Why did you not mention it at all? And then 45 minutes into an hour-long video, there's one of the most epic things I've ever seen. You would have got so many more views if that was in the thumbnail and people would have known it was coming. And I said, yeah, that's why I didn't do it. Because I would rather, 100,000 people be sat there going, no. There's what, actually like, and actually experiencing it as happened to me, rather than just like, desperately clamoring for those views. And I think it's worth telling a story correctly, rather than just chasing just some, and also those people that you manage to to get you to watch their video while they're sat on the toilet. You know, you're just desperate to try and get them.
How do you know? It's where I watch all your
Exactly,
stuff.
yeah. I get so many comments from people who think that they're going to watch 10 minutes, and I'll get comments going, I've just realised I've been sat on the toilet for an hour, I can't feel my feet.
Does that make you feel proud?
Yeah,
Makes you feel good. Mum, what's happened?
Well, yeah, I mean, in this day and age, to be able to get somebody to watch a YouTube video on their phone on the toilet for an hour without realising.
Without wiping.
Yeah, the hemorrhoids everywhere. And so that to me, it makes all of the editing just so worthwhile because, you know, for people to just completely lose track of time and just essentially think that they are there with me. That's what happens when you watch a really good story or you're reading a really good book. And yeah, I love that I somehow managed to do that, and I still don't know how it happens.
So my next question is, Boo, then how did it happen? No. So yeah, because you're right, you started before YouTube was particularly popular. Did you ever think, or did you ever actually contemplate that your sabbaticals would become like what is a hugely successful career?
No, not even in the slightest. The videos were just made for people to enjoy, and that was the end of it. Because the concept of it being a career didn't exist.
Is it in your mind now?
How do you mean, sorry?
Do you view what you do as a career still, or do you go out and do these things because it's a challenge, or is it both?
You still have a career break.
It's a very long sabbatical. You're going to go back to that power station.
So the what was the question? Sorry, that threw me.
It's all right. So do you because you are hugely popular by now, you do make money from it.
Yeah.
Do you think about creating a video, or do you think, no, actually, I just want to try this because it's really cool and make a video around it? Or is it a bit of both?
My absolute golden rule is I only do trips that I would do even if filming things became illegal. If cameras suddenly got made illegal, if they were never invented, you would still find me driving a mini Jeep across the desert alone. That is, you know, it's because I can't act. Every now and then there is some acting in my things, which I do point out. But yeah, I can't act. It's horrendous. I can't follow a script. So, and I can't fake being happy or being sad. And even if I could, people would see through it. So everything you ever see is first take. Sometimes I'll mess something up and have to do a second take, and that's awful. So now I don't even bother. And yeah, everything I do is because I want to do it. And I just happen to film it, and then I make a video about it.
I love the fact that because you film it, you're a hugely successful content creator and YouTuber. If you didn't film it, you'd just be a bit mad. And that's great.
Well, both, aren't I?
That's it.
I'd say hugely successful, but
you're doing pretty well. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to let go of my question. My favourite interviews are the ones where I don't have to look at the questions.
Okay.
And this has been fantastic, but I'm also aware we've got a lot of fans out here as well. I don't want to give you the chance to ask Ed some questions. So has anyone got something I would like to ask? Yes, sir, over there, hand straight up.
Ed, has C90 filed for divorce on grounds of separation?
Has C90 filed for divorce on grounds of separation?
Well, we only got engaged in Thailand because they wouldn't legally marry us, if you remember. So no, we never got married, so there was no divorce.
Yes, sir.
Did you start doing something with a double-decker bus? I don't know if I've missed it, but is that something that's on there that I've not seen, or is that something that's coming or still in process?
Did you start
I didn't want any appreciation or anything. I thought I deserved any. I've been helped out in the past. I saw that she was stuck there. She was in a bit of a crap situation, and also her ankle was injured, so she couldn't really move around. It was a horrible motel. And I said, oh, I'm about a 8-hour drive away. I can come and get you and then bring you back. And she's like, well, no. I was like, right, okay. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to offer to help you. Then you're going to say, oh, no, it's too much trouble. And I'm going to say, no, it really isn't. And you're going to say, no, it is. And then on about the 4th time, you're going to give up and let me come and rescue you. So should we just cut the crap and I'll just come and pick you up now? She's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Went and picked her up and brought her back to Utah. And and she was there for a week or 10 days until her ankle was better. And then she carried on.
Nice, nice. I love the fact that you've been in the States 4 years and you still use the word bit of a pickle to explain an accident and a broken ankle, threatening to end a trip,
Yes.
which is nice.
Oh dear, I appear to be injured.
A mishap, a mishap. I think there's a question over here. Yes, sir. Do you have a lawnmower trip planned?
I've already done it.
Ah.
So the last trip I did was with a YouTuber that's called Michael Reeves. Once again, so he's got like 11 million subscribers or so. I actually got him into adventure motorcycling, it turns out. But we ended up being friends and whatnot, because similar sense of humour. And so we did 700 miles off-road from Reno to Vegas on ride-on lawnmowers. And once again, and this is the problem, is I do not know the limits of how moronic a task I can choose to do before it doesn't work. I don't know what's...
Now you know the limits of a sit-on lawnmower.
Yes, yeah. I tore the front right wheel fell off. I tore the entire axle off. Actually, no, I'm giving away what happened. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, when can we watch it?
When I finished editing it, sorry.
Which will be 2 weeks, 3 days time.
So the problem is there's 47 hours of footage that we filmed. Michael filmed his, which I don't know what he filmed. So some of it's multicam, some of it's not. Some of it I don't even remember that he caught. And so that timeline is horrific, and I'm desperately trying to keep at it. But the problem with my videos are nobody can edit them but me, because what you're basically watching, somebody pointed it out to me, you're watching basically an observational comedy stand-up routine that I'm doing about essentially a different person, which is me in the past. And so the problem with that is that I can't just watch it through and just pick the good shots, because that isn't what it's about. It's about me spotting the joke or the gag or the, how I can misdirect you, and
it's like mocking yourself as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Always great.
Yeah, because I was a moron. And the person that's me editing it, I'm like, why would you do this, Ed? This doesn't make any sense.
Guys, we've probably got time for one more question. There was a chap in the corner over here.
You've met a lot of very helpful people on your trips. Do you find it easier to meet people on 2 wheels or 4?
You've met lots of helpful people on your trips. Do you find it easier to meet people on 2 wheels or 4?
I think it was basically equal, because the mini Jeep and the lawnmower is the equivalent of a Honda 90. It's what really brings people out is the idea of there is no way that you're doing this to be a show-off and a prat. Because, like, what is wrong with you? So when I was on the mini Jeep, it's exactly the same as riding a Honda 90 around the world. People just look at you and just go, okay, yeah, that looks like fun. This looks like the plot of some hangover film. Do you need any help? And that's why one of the reasons I've picked the vehicles I did, especially the Honda 90. Because when you pull up at a set of traffic lights and you're alongside everybody else on Honda 90s, the general vibe is, that's like my bike, but worse.
Mate, that's the most fun I've had all day. Give it up, Fred March!